Welcome to a special edition of Crawford County Outdoors. I'm Dwayne Kohler. Over my shoulder, Sidney Crosby there. Okay, so we're at the Meadville Area Rec Complex. This is the 50th anniversary year of the Meadville Area Rec Complex. And there's a whole bunch of things that go on here. Of course, and what we're going to talk about today is the skating part. So stay with us. This is going to be a great episode. Talk for a second about the history of this skating program, about the history of the Little Penguins program.
So when I got here in 2018, that was one program that I really wanted to bring into this facility because it is such a great facility, and they didn't really have anything that was, you know, sort of like, how do you get started? So okay. I contacted the Little Penguins, and they brought us 40 bags of gear and told us to distribute it between the different families and the organizations. And then we just started getting people involved. And you know, you already had Brent Gailey on, but he got involved, Coach Jeremiah got on, and with 814 Hockey Partnership, we were able to start the program.
So if you don't have something like this, or if you do have something like this, I mean, talk about the difference down the road.
So it's going to grow numbers. I mean, it's just going to bring numbers. And the hardest thing about hockey is getting started. The equipment's expensive, the ice time is expensive. So if you can take one of those out of the equation, it sounds great. In theory, that it's going to work without it, but you take one of those out, it really boosts the numbers. So we've gone from 8 or 9 kids going into hockey a year to almost 20, 25 kids going into hockey every year.
Wow, that's great. So the Meadville hockey program, I mean, I was in high school when it started. Yeah, well, actually, I was in junior high when it started. Then I was in high school the whole time, and it got off the ground, and then, you know, the hockey team formed, you know, a little bit later. I'm trying to think when that was.
I think it was 81.
It was like when it was when I was in college. Yeah. You know, and then it's like state champs, you know, a whole bunch of times and all that kind of stuff, you know. And it's like a small town like Meadville. It's like, how the heck does Meadville have a, you know, state championship hockey team?
That's
you know?
True. Well, they are like a family. That's one thing I will say about Meadville people is when they're playing hockey here, the families get together, they go on vacations together, they go to tournaments together, they stay in hotels together. So you become a family pretty quickly, and that's the best thing I think about the youth hockey up through the high school age. And
talk for a second about the kind of things that kids have to learn off the bat, you know, to get started, and then as they move along, you know, talk about that for a second.
So the big thing is skating. Back when they first started, Kevin Pipp was instrumental at just no pucks until November. So September, October, there'd be just nothing but skating. There would be no pucks being allowed on the ice, and they would skate. That's one of the recipe for success in the state championships. So we're starting getting back to that, doing a lot of power skating camps and doing a lot of things. So even before they get into Little Penguins, they have to do like a learn to skate, which is a lot of just skating. And then once they get the gear, then, you know, they usually start to get a little more aggressive, and they realize it's a contact sport.
So
really, all you got to do is be a little bit aggressive and be able to skate, and that will get you started playing hockey.
Let me ask you about the learn to skate. Now, what's the big story about that one? Can you a little history of that, and then, you know, how that all rolls?
So the learn to skate actually developed into 2 different divisions. We have the hockey school, and then we have the Outer Edge Figure Skating Club. So when you come into learn to skate, you can kind of start to feel with which path you're going to take, and we make sure that parents know that, hey, listen, you don't have to pick right now. You're just here to skate, you know, see if they enjoy it a little bit being on the ice, and then we can start to have the conversations of, you know, do you want to go to the hockey? Do you want to go to the figure skating side? But again, it's all about what the kids enjoy, because it is all about the kids here at the MARC.
Well, let me ask you a question. So now, how do you decide figure skating or hockey? How do you know? What's the, you know, is it more like someone aggressive that doesn't mind knocking into somebody or whatever, they go to hockey? Is that how that works?
Well, you still have to be aggressive, I think, in both, because you have to be, you know, brave enough to do jumps and do things that put you out of your comfort zone. But what I will say is, if you're more of a musically inclined, if you're more you know, of a dance type person, you know, that's really where you kind of go into the figure skating side of things. And you know, the hockey, it's more about speed, being fast, being aggressive, being physical. That's more on the hockey side. But definitely, I mean, you could do both. I mean, I've seen plenty of people. I've skated in a figure skating show before, and I played hockey, so I've done both. So you can do both. They're both take the same mentality, because you still have to be brave and be able to do things and get out of your comfort zone. But I will say that if you're more of a dancing type, then you're going to want to probably do figure skating. And if you're more aggressive, you want to do hockey.
Let me ask you a generic question here. So a town like Meadville, I mean, there's lots of towns Meadville size around Western Pennsylvania. Nobody except Meadville has a rink like this. Has a facility like this.
It is fantastic. That's one thing that I loved as a kid, is realizing that when I went to all these rinks in Pittsburgh, they're big organizations. They're 6-7 teams per division. They had 7 or 8 high schools in the same. You come here, we have 1 high school team, 1 college team, and we have 1 organization here. So it kind of keeps things streamlined a little bit more. But the community support we get, from the community partners, from our donors, from the advertising that we do here, the community gets behind this gem. And we can't thank them enough.
I mean, to me, this is an awesome community asset. I mean, it's like all the other towns around here that are Meadville size or whatever, nobody has anything like this. I told people this story before, but when I worked at the hospital, one of my things was to introduce new doctors that were considering coming to Meadville or going someplace else or whatever. I would take them around town and introduce them to people and show them, whatever.
Absolutely.
The first place I would bring them was here, because it's like this was something very unique, and most of them had kids, and they were like, oh wow, this is this is awesome.
And there's so much to do here. I mean, between the tennis, the baseball, the soccer, the swimming, the skate park, the bocce courts, pickleball. I mean, there's just so much to do here, and we try to add things every year to bring new communities in. So I agree. Using it as an economic tool, using it as a recruiting tool, and it's just going to help our community.
And as a community asset, like I said before, there just aren't other communities around here that have an asset like this.
No,
this is just a phenomenal.
It's very rare. I only know of one other one. That's Altoona. That is the only other one in all of Western PA that has this size of a town, but can absolutely fulfill the wishes of parents in the community to have this many programs.
So how are things going? I mean, to me, maybe, what was it, 8 or 10 years ago, the school district cut their funding back to the rec complex like by 80%. And it's like, I was just coming back on the board then. I'd been on the board back in the 90s, and I got asked to come onto the Westmead Township board, so I couldn't be on that board and this board both. I had to drop off, of this one. When I came back on the board, that was right when that happened, and it was like a disaster. I mean, it was like, how's this place going to stay alive? So let me ask you that generic question here.
So when I got here in 2018, I didn't know a lot about how much the community was involved in it. We had some community partners that came in. They had a town hall meeting that kind of was like, what are we going to do to save the MARC? Pretty much what happened. So when I got brought in, I was like thinking of different ways to do that, and I thought the community partnerships was a great way. We have added 3 new community partnerships since 2018, so that's another $75,000 to $100,000 every year.
That's awesome.
We started getting more naming rights things. Gary Kokolin got involved with the conference center. Roger Gilday got involved. We have Touchstone Cafe now that got involved with their sponsorship. If you go outside our rink, there are countless dasher boards and billboards now of all the marketing that this town has got behind, and now we are definitely in the positive.
So if you're a business in the area, what better thing is to get your name out there, in a place like this where so many people are coming and going, all the time.
Well, we have 76,000 people that visit the MARC every year.
Wow.
76,000 people. So you're going to get 76,000 people to walk in here and see your sign, to see you sponsorship, to see you get behind this facility. And if their kids play here, or their family members play here, their grandkids play here, then they're going to say, hey, I want to support that business or support that local entity.
That's awesome. Well, this is the 50th anniversary of the rec complex, and just a excuse me, a phenomenal thing here. So what do you see going forward?
I see the MARC being financially stable and a real true staple in this community. I think that's what's going to happen in the next 10 years. You're going to see the MARC. You're going to see people rally around this place. You're going to see businesses rally around this place, and you're going to see just the amount of amenities and different things that are going to get done. We have the amphitheater coming up. We have a locker room project that we're going to try and work on. We're still working on some things in the pool to get the outdoor pool. We had the shelter and the playground added. So they're just little things that we're trying to keep adding. And then when it comes to the 50th anniversary, there's just going to be these awesome events. We're going to have throwback days. We're going to have a Meadville Bulldog alumni hockey camp for kids, where all the alumni from all the state championships are going to come back and help the kids. And Jeff Hanaway was nice enough to sponsor for all the kids to come in for free. So, I mean, there's not even any cost to these people. That's how much the community gets behind it. We're going to have a founders dinner, and then I missed all that. We got the MARC Remarkable Festival that we're having here July 20th.
Awesome,
So there's going to be tons of stuff for the 50th.
Okay, so not only is there the little penguins for the little kids to learn how and learn how to skate, learn how to play hockey, all that kind of stuff, and then the high school hockey team. But there's senior hockey events that go on here too, right?
Oh yeah, we have adult learn to play. Actually, we had to move to 2 nights now because we got so much. So many people wanting to do it now. So now Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights are all adult learn to play hockey. One's a beginner group, one's a more intermediate group. But yeah, if you want to come down and try hockey, never tried it before, you've been watching the Penguins, you're like, hey, I'd like to try that. We have gear here that we can get you started, and come join and have some fun.
Now, what's the thing about with the police department that comes and does their event every year?
Yeah, so we have the Battle of the Badges game.
Battle of the Badges, okay.
The first Saturday in January every year, and the police play against the fire. This year we have police versus police, but next year I believe the fire team is going to have their team back. So yeah, it's a great event for kids and for adults alike to come watch the police and the firemen really battle it out.
I remember one time, and this was a long time ago, when the ice was off, we had some event, and I was out there actually, and I actually scored a goal. It was
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is.
Especially when you're doing it with people that are about your same ability.
Yeah,
when you're out there, you're playing against somebody that's a little better than you. It's tougher, but as long as you're playing with the same people, it's a lot of fun.
Okay, so the Meadville Area Rec Complex 50-year anniversary. So I mean, you mentioned some of the events coming up or whatever. Do you have specific things that you would like to have individuals come at a certain time, at a certain time or a certain certain day or whatever to come out for?
Well, the first day the pool opens will be our throwback day. The Remarkable is July 20th.
When does the pool open?
The pool's
early June.
Yeah, it's going to be I think the 14th.
The 14th of June. Okay.
Then the Remarkable is July 20th. Then the Meadville Bulldog Alumni Hockey Camp is Black Friday. And then the Founders Dinner is still to be determined. So,
okay.
But we're really going to kick it off with the baseball season.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, because the baseball season is going to be the big one because, as you know, the One Federal Credit Union did a lot of renovations down to the baseball field.
How's the field now?
Oh, it's amazing. It is amazing what Heather and Tony have done down there to get that thing ready. So if you have not seen the baseball field, you should go down. New scoreboard, new marketing, new dugouts, new mounds, new dirt.
Even just a few years back, there's that little facility for batting, for batting practice.
Yeah, and they completely renovated that. They got new nets in there, new lighting.
That's awesome.
So yeah, they did a great job down there with that.
Well, Aaron, congratulations here on all the stuff that's going on.
Thanks, Dwayne.
And thanks for everything that you're doing.
Absolutely. And if there's anything you guys ever need, let me know.
Awesome. Well, let me ask you to introduce yourself here.
I'm Brent Gailey. I'm a volunteer for Little Pens program. I've been helping Aaron out at the MARC for about 5 years now.
Give us some history, but Little Pens. That seems like an awesome program.
Oh, it is fantastic. I've had 4 of my kids go through it, a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and then my twin 5-year-olds are now into it.
Oh, wow.
Basically, it's a program that invites everybody to come try hockey. You get full equipment. You get 8 hours of ice time onto the ice with professionals. Aaron being one of the best in the area.
Now I noticed when they were out there that there's boys and girls. I mean, I was surprised. Now there are some girl hockey teams around here. So
absolutely, it's open to everybody. Everybody's welcome to come try it. It's one of the best little programs in the area.
So now, Meadville's not a huge town. It's kind of like a smallish medium-sized town or whatever. And to have this facility here, I mean, to me, I think that's an awesome thing. I mean, let me get your opinion about that.
Yeah, we're actually from Mercer, so we drive all the way up from Mercer to enjoy this facility.
Okay.
It is just one of the best around. You have the pool, you have the ice, you have the tennis courts, the baseball fields. You can't beat what this gem is to this community.
I like your comment. It's a gem. When I was in high school, when I was in junior high, this was being built, and when I started in high school, all my friends, they were on the swim team or they were on the, all this just kicked off, and it's like it was so unusual to have something like this, in our town, because the closest other hockey rink around here is up in Erie, or you have to go the other way. It's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's in Newcastle actually. So
Newcastle.
We
okay.
sit right in the middle, and we chose here because of the facilities that are available. Also, the coaching and the people that are here. I can't tell you how much Aaron Rekich is just an absolute great person for this facility.
There's been some mechanical issues. This is the 50th anniversary,
yep.
and there's been things are broken down. Well, stuff wears out.
Yep.
Stuff does wear out. The Zamboni's out there running right now. And
yep.
it got replaced here just a couple years back. The dehumidifier got replaced. The pool roof caved in with an ice storm last year. All that kind of stuff. But it's like it's working out. It's working out, and I think that's an awesome thing. That the community's really behind it.
Absolutely, and the biggest thing is the community is behind it, and if you keep coming to this thing, it will just make it 10 times better.
Well, that's awesome.
So just keep coming, keep enjoying the facilities. You can't beat it.
Well, thanks for what you're doing.
Hey, thank you so much.
Okay. Well, let me ask you to introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Holly Maloney. I am a skating coach here at the MARC with the Learn to Skate program and the Outer Edge Figure Skating Club.
Well, let me ask you to explain what are those two programs and
yes.
what's all involved with
sure.
all those two programs.
The Learn to Skate program, first of all, is basically our foundation program, which we include or invite several skaters from around the area and the community and the tri-state area even, and it gives them an opportunity to begin to learn to skate. So just the basics, it gives them that confidence that they would need in order to branch into our other programs, which may be the figure skating route or the hockey route.
So what are the kind of things that you throw out there to get somebody to learn to skate?
First of all, we start with falling down and simply getting back up.
Okay.
And then how
do you get back up whenever you fall down?
So we have different techniques that we use, and especially with our younger children who take our class, we may relate it to like pretending to be their dog or cat at home and getting up on all fours, and then from there take a knee and then pushing off the ice and off your knee to get back up and get your balance.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So
yes.
balance. That's the big thing,
word.
right? That's the big thing. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. So if I'm going to go hockey or if I'm going to go figure skating, you'll introduce people both ways, right?
Correct. Yes. And our Learn to Skate program currently has, both. They can try out both sets of skates, a figure skating skate with the toe pick or the hockey skate. Learning the basics, like I mentioned, so more like glides, learning to go backwards, the swizzles, so bringing both feet together, maneuvering some edge work, simple edge work. And then we also have a hockey side of that program, which introduces more hockey-based skills.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Now, when I was a little kid growing up, do you know the community here pretty well? So
yes.
Heidi Cooper Park, I live nearby. They would flood the tennis court and let kids skate there. And so so I learned how to skate, and that's where I learned how to skate there. So let me ask you a question: how do you skate backwards?
So the key is you want to bend your knees, and again, you really do need to remember balance through your shoulders, down to your hips, to your knees, and then to your feet.
So keeping
yes.
your body
so keeping
not
that,
only in one way or the other way or whatever.
Correct.
Okay.
You want to keep your back
stable.
nice and strong, and your arms are also a big factor in that.
Okay. So when you're going backwards, instead of you're pushing off to the side, whatever, you're pushing out to the front, right?
It's actually to the side and back a little
Okay,
bit more.
okay, okay.
But we have different ways that we explain it, and kind of like a curve, and depending which skate you use too.
I mean, obviously you see that a lot in hockey.
Yes.
You're playing defense and you're backing up.
It's an important thing. That's right.
Obviously, you got to know how to skate backwards if you're going to play hockey. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Well, so how's the program going? I mean, how's it?
Very well. We have currently out there 20 children right now in our Learn to Skate program plus, and this is a brand new session this Saturday. We have had a consistent enrollment, which is nice, and then to speak to the figure skating club, and you may start to get in this, we've branched out to like 10 skaters, so that we've increased over the
Well, I know
seasons.
the Olympics, I mean, I watch the figure skaters in the Olympics or whatever, and that's really dramatic. I mean, jumping and spinning around, and it's like jumping and landing. I mean, that's got to be a really big deal, right?
It sure is, and part of our figure skating club, we do teach that, and again, it comes backward skating. It's a very huge part of that, whether you land forward on a jump or to come out of a spin or a jump backward. It all plays a factor in
Is that a difference? Is it if you're landing backwards? Does that make a difference in like where you're looking back to see the ice, or
No, you still want balance, and you would not look back necessarily, right?
Okay.
Just depends on edges and that too.
Okay, so for down the road, what do you see?
I see a lot of room for improvement, but as well as a nice continuing of the program. The Learn to Skate program is wonderful, and I know I can speak to that from myself growing up, and then my nephews have also been in it in recent years here.
Let me ask you about the facility. I mean, this facility, is an awesome asset to our community.
It sure is.
Does it work for you? I mean, does it work for this program?
It absolutely does. Yes.
Okay.
And I've grown up here all my life in
Okay.
this area in the community, so I have seen it through, and it's come full circle for me as a coach too.
Well,
so
that's awesome.
Very pleased with it.
Well, thank you for the program. Thanks for what you're doing. We appreciate you coming on and talking today.
You are welcome. Thank you for having me.
Joining us now, DJ Craven. So DJ, give us a little history here. So now this rink existed a little bit before you came around.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
But you've been here like basically your whole life for the most part.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I started here in we called it Mini Mites back when you're 5 years old, and started ever since then, and worked my way through the CCYHA program and the Flames and all the travel hockey team, and then to JVs for the Bulldogs, and then ultimately the high school team. And then after high school, of course, I went to college, played in college for a few years. And
now, one thing I want to mention, your high school team actually got to state finals, right?
Yeah, we actually won the state finals.
The state finals.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And you're not the only one that did that, right? I mean, that's happened several times here.
Yeah, they won about 5 times in a row in the '90s when I was growing up, and then it was another 4 times before that, I think. You have to fact check me on the number, but yeah, they won plenty when I was going. So I was kindergarten through 5th grade. They won basically every year.
Awesome.
That was it was a popular sport back then.
So was that something that got you motivated to be jumping into hockey?
Yeah, of course. I mean, my dad, he was always into hockey, and I think got me signed up pretty early. And if I remember, I mean, we had a waiting list. A lot of kids wanted to play and couldn't play because of just how many people that wanted to play at the time. So it was very popular. You also have to remember too, that's when the Penguins were winning back-to-back Stanley Cups as well.
It sure was.
So
that's right.
It was very popular in the area at that time, early 90s.
So now, Now that's moved on. Now, I mean, obviously, still the hockey, the high school hockey still goes on here.
Yeah.
But now you're in the adult hockey league. Now,
yeah. That's.
Can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, this is what I'm dressed for now. We call it the NOAHL, which is Night Owl Hockey League. Started. I couldn't tell you when that started. Probably when I was even younger. Okay. And we've been competing just a beer league, and that's what we're here for tonight. And so I've been playing for the last 35 years, basically in a row.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, so now the adult league. Now, is there a certain age group or whatever that fits into it? Or?
No, it used to be after a certain age, but now we're pretty much, once you're out of high school, you're eligible to play. So we've got 6 teams right now. We got about 75 guys, and we play once a week. Pretty nice slots on Friday evenings and Sunday evenings. So it's not like Pittsburgh where they're playing 11:30 at night. We're a lot
So after high school and college, okay, you can jump in. Now, what about when you start getting?
Well, as you know, my dad still plays, and he's 68 years old. So
okay.
there's no until somebody kicks you out.
So there's no age bracket that kicks you out at the end. There.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so let me get your opinion about the rec complex. I mean, to me, this is an awesome community asset.
Absolutely,
it just isn't available in a lot of other towns that are the size of the Meadville. They're just not available.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to probably cut this short because I got to get out there, hear the puck stop, and so we only have 4 guys tonight, so I got to get going.
Okay.
But yeah, great community asset. I'm really pleased that we have it here, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, that's awesome. Well, good luck with your game tonight.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks for joining us today at the Meadville Area Rec Complex 50th anniversary. That's an awesome thing. Hopefully we'll be able to get more of the events going on throughout the year. But thanks for joining us today, and we will talk to you next time.